In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make 2010s pop music, going for something in the style of like Katy Perry or Kesha or something like that. And specifically in this tutorial, I remade California Girls by Katy Perry, and I'll break down my remake of the track's elements, the sounds of those elements, the mixing, the structure and arrangement of the track, all that jazz. And hopefully by the end of this tutorial, you can make a song in the similar style to this one. Set the tempo around 125 BPM. Start off by making some chords and chopping them up into a pattern. Originally, upon making the chords, they were just long like this, but then all I did is I just shortened them and then made them into a pattern like this that just repeats itself. I have several layers for the sounds of this. I have this piano preset from Flex, this standard synth type preset from MHA's Vital Sound Bank Volume 3, this horns preset from Flex, this string preset from Flex, and then two Flex pluck presets as well. Here's the first one, and then here is the second. Make sure to turn off the reverb from like the actual sources of these sounds as well. See, I just turned the delay and the reverb off for all of these. And there's lots of different variety with the types of sounds that I chose here just to kind of give it extra flavor, make the overall sound of it less boring. Generally just add some different things here and there to see if it sounds good. Like, for example, I started off with the piano and the synth, and then I added the horns and stuff later just to, you know, kind of amplify the sound and add some variety and stuff like that. And for mixing, I added a Fruity Blood overdrive in there, nothing done to it, just the preset thrown in there, just to kind of distort the sound a tiny bit, but basically just to boost the overall level of the sound as well. And I have an EQ just taking out a lot of the lows so it's not muddy in the mix, and then just raising a little bit of the highs as well to make those a little more prominent. And then I have a sidechain as well to make the drums that we're going to make later just stand out more without having to resort to too much distortion or amplification for the drums later. I also have an intro version of those, which is just the same chords just with a different pluck sound. And we'll talk about this again later, but yeah, I'm just showing that to you for now. Next, take the bass notes from those chords and put it into some bass presets. Make sure to keep the same pattern from the chords as well. Again, I have lots of sounds to accomplish the overall sound of this. I have this bass preset from Flex, this other bass guitar preset from Flex, a soft guitar bass preset from MHA's Vital Sound Bank Volume 2, a brass stab sound, and a more subharmonic type sound for a sub bass. And then I also added a slap bass, but it only plays one note at the end right there just to give the bass some extra flavor, and that one note sounds like this. And that's just a slap bass preset from Flex. And then for the mixing for the bass, I added a Fruity Blood overdrive on here. Again, just the actual plugin thrown in there, nothing done to it, just to give the bass some distortion and amplify the overall sound. An EQ, not doing much, just raising a little bit of the highs so that it sounds better in the mix so that you can hear it better. And same sidechain from the chords from earlier, again, same reasons. Next, I just have a little guitar loop playing in the background. Make sure it's like very funky and has that overall type vibe to it. And you can get something like this from either Looperman, which is free, or Splice, which is paid. I use both. I recommend both. They both provide really great samples. Now for the drums. I have a kick. Make sure it's like a very stadium punchy sounding kick, which you could also complement with the top kick if it's too low. So together the two kicks sound like this. So the top kick kind of just reinforces the highs of the kick. And then I have a snare. Make sure it's a very clappy and wide snare. And the kick and the snare I put in a pattern that sounds like this. So very simple and straightforward pattern. And then I also have a ride loop as well. So the final result of the drums sounds like this. Now for the effects. For the chorus, I have two downlifters. I have this one. And then I have this one as well. And then I just have an atmospheric drone in the background as well, just to fill up the mix a little bit and make it sound less dull. And I sidechained the drone with the same sidechain from earlier. And then leading up to the chorus, I also have a reverse crash. just to kind of provide like a transition point from the verse to the chorus. Now for the structure and arrangement of this track, for any like intro or verse or bridge or anything like that, I would suggest just doing the intro pluck that I showed from earlier and then a simplified version of the drum loop right here without the rides. But then to the chorus part, I have everything all together that I showed you. I have the regular chords, the bass, the guitar, the drums with the rides, and then all the effects that I showed as well. Leading up to the chorus, I have a fill that kind of just introduces the drums, and then I also have that same fill at the end of like 2 bars of the chorus to kind of give some variety in the mix. So yeah, that's the overall structure of the track. Now for the final result.
Break their necks.